Hi, welcome to another episode of The Lord's Delight. I want to talk today about foundations. I want to talk about my foundation and to maybe ask you to think about what is yours. And I am consciously using the word foundation and not faith because I believe we can have faiths that we profess, but when we go through trouble is when we truly understand what our foundations are, what is or whom do we turn to in trouble. And going through those seasons of downs, trouble, grief, whatever it might be, that is what I believe forms the foundation or strengthens our belief system into a foundation that we stand on and get through those trouble times. I want to start off by talking about Daniel, especially Daniel chapter 6, where the administrators of Darius, they do not like him, they couldn't find fault with him, and what they do is a decree is issued in accordance with the laws of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed. But what does Daniel do? He goes against that and prays 3 times a day in his room, and these people bring that issue to the king. Even the edict which made it illegal for Daniel to pray did not stop him from praying. But I want to talk about what comes next. Immediately the king knows that it is not right to, because he knows who Daniel is and what kind of person, but then he does throw him in lion's den because of the order that he issued. And what he says is, may your God whom you serve continually rescue you. You know what I would have done? Yes, I would have prayed, but I would have tried my hardest to climb out of that den. Like something on my own. I'll be like, God will help me, but I need to try also to do this on my own. That is what is like amazing in this incident for me with Daniel. Because when the king comes back in the morning and he calls and like in an anguished voice it says, he's calling out to Daniel saying, Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God whom you serve continually been able to rescue you from the lions? Daniel answers, O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I ever done any wrong before you, O king. And Daniel was lifted from the den. No wound was found on him because he had trusted in his God. The thing is, Daniel's calmness right there, I cannot imagine me in that situation. Even in a zoo, standing outside the cage, if an animal is going to, especially a lion, roar at me, I will leave that place. To be in there with them and calmly conversing with the king, at least what I would have done is, God had saved me throughout the night. When the king came and asked me, my thing would have been, please take me out of here. I mean, my innocence, the lions didn't do anything to me. Take me out of this place. There is no anxiety or that desperation to get out of that place in Daniel's response, which just boggles my mind. Another person who turned in his time of trouble to God is David. Unlike Daniel, I'm able to identify with David a little bit more because some of his troubles he tried to solve on his own, got into trouble, but then he learned. So throughout his journey with God, you could see that there are times he failed to turn to God in trouble, but there are times he turned to God. And to me, that gives me hope because I feel like my life is like that. Sometimes I turn to God and a lot of times I try to solve on my own. But the thing is, David's journey with God made him grow in faith. So I'm hoping my journey with God helps me do the same. So I want to point you to a few verses. I want to talk about Psalm 3, where David, he's fleeing Absalom, his own son, and he's crying out to God, O Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against me? Many are saying of me, God will not deliver him. I need to remember, he didn't have self-pity. Oh my Lord, my own kid is rising up against me. Why did you do this to me? His reaching out to God is in totally a different way. He says, in that trouble when he is fleeing, but you are a shield around me, O Lord. You bestow glory on me and lift up my head. That kind of faith in God during trouble, I'm just still amazed. And he actually says, I will not fear the tens of thousands drawn up against me on every side. He also calls out to God in terms of the next word. He says, deliver me, oh my God. Strike my enemies on the jaw, break the teeth of the wicked. There are times I really identify with him because some of the times I don't feel like praying for people who are doing that to me. what I want to do is actually crib about them to God and vent. So those times I sink so much with David. Even in Psalm 4, he's like, give me relief from my distress, be merciful to me. The kind of bold request that he has in prayer whenever he's in trouble, I'm just, do I do that? Or my instant thing for me is, what can I do to fix this? What are the different options I have? It goes to my brain and not just to my heart, where I turn to God and say, you help me do it. Through all the trouble, what surprises me in every psalm is he talks about his bed being wet with the tears. He's going through so much, but he still hopes in God and talks to him as if he's a very intimate friend. So my thing is, that kind of relationship do I really have with God? I profess that. But when trouble comes, how do I behave? What is being tested in me when I come out of the trouble, when I turn back and look at it? What is my foundation that I held on to? Is it self-confidence? Is it a faith in my own talents? What is that foundation that sustains me? And I would encourage you to think about it the last time you were in trouble or going through low times. What was it that helped you through that time? Was it God? Was it something else? I'm not ashamed to say some of the times it has been God and some of the times it has not been, which is not a good thing. So I guess those are the times my foundation shakes a little bit. Looking back though, some of my downtimes I have held on to God like crazy when I didn't even know how I did that. Was it because I had no other hope? Was it because I had no solution before me that my wisdom could explain my worldly knowledge? I don't know. But my question is, let's say if it's not that deep trouble, even if it's a little trouble, for me the thing is, if I feel like I could fix it, I'll probably try on my own, trying to get out of that habit, because the solution sometimes what God has is something so unique, and with his help, small or big, I can approach the problem with a completely different perspective rather than me trying to fix on my own. Number one lesson for me that I have learned through this is the self thing. For me, it's an illusion because I go quickly to the worldly perspective of me. I sometimes forget to include God in addressing those troubles. It's not that I haven't come over trouble that way. I have. But now looking back, I wish I had included God, who would have helped me handle probably in a completely different way. And the second thing, the times that I have just been at his feet, just clinging on to him to get through the trouble, those are the times which have been my lowest lows. But I was so happy and at peace, even though the world around me was falling apart. And I can look back at those times and actually see how my foundation was strengthened. And I want the same for you. So think about it. When you are low, when you are in deep trouble, what gets you through? Is it what you claim to be your faith? Is your foundation and your faith basically, are they the same? Or is it something else? I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.